You know, I wasn't sure if I should wear the Galchenyuk, the Domi, or the Kessel jerseys. I have all of them. They're all involved in this trade somehow, but hey, whatever. How's it going? AZ Sports Guy, I am back, unfortunately for some of y'all, but 7 years ago when I created the AZ Sports Guy channel, AZ Sports Guy 1.0, we're on 3.0 now. This was actually one of the first videos I made, and it was about the Alex Galchenyuk Max Domi trade. So, you know what? First video back, let's take a look back at this trade, because I remember, let's jump into it. So, on June 15th, 2018, the Montreal Canadiens traded forward Alex Galchenyuk to the Arizona Coyotes in exchange for forward Max Domi. A little bit of context on Domi. Is drafted in the first round, I think 2013. And there's these 3 seasons that he played for the Coyotes. 18-goal season, 9-goal season, and a 9-goal season. So 16, 17, 17, 18. And offensively, it just wasn't working. And regardless of what that reason was, I'm pretty sure this was the first year of Coach Tockett's tenure and no change, so I don't really want to attribute all of that to him or anything. For whatever reason, it just wasn't working with Domi. Don't know if it was a system thing, whatever. You look at Alex Galchenyuk in 14-15, 20 goals, 15-16, 30 goals. This is a really solid goal scorer. And the following 2 seasons in 16-17 and 17-18, 17 and 19 goals, 44 points and 51 points respectively. That's a middle sixer. That's a middle six, top 6 guy. He can get you about 20 goals. I understand why the Coyotes went for this trade. It made a lot of sense at the time. However, as what seems to happen with Coyotes trades, there's a bit of a monkey's paw. But we'll start off with Galchenyuk. In 2018-2019, the first year I started making videos on the team, 72 games, 19 goals, 22 assists, 41 points. A little bit of a point drop-off, but you kind of want to stay around the averages, just under 20 goals. Not bad. There was production there, all right? That was a solid season by Alex Galchenyuk. Then they trade him a year later. June 29th, 2019, he's traded to Pittsburgh alongside Pierre-Olivier Joseph, I think he's still there, in exchange for Phil Kessel, defenseman Dane Burks, and a 2021 4th-round pick. The 4th-round pick becomes Rasmus Koronen. Burks never plays for the organization. Kessel, 208 games, 42 goals, 91 assists, 133 points. And they get nothing back for him. They couldn't trade him. However, all right, I'll go ahead and agree with Shannon. You do have to factor in service time. So they did get service time out of Kessel. So you take an asset that was solid, turn it into Kessel, who gives you one 20-goal season over the 3 seasons he was here, and a goaltending prospect that looks decent. I know he had some time with the Roadrunners, but I think he was playing overseas last year. Then, all right, when he goes to Pittsburgh, that first season, 2019-2020, 45 games, 5 goals, 12 assists, 17 points. He is traded in February. Doesn't even make it a full season. In the Jason Zucker trade, and I know a lot of Pittsburgh fans probably hate talking about that trade, so I'm just going to keep it very brief. 14 games, 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points after the trade, so half point per game. Not bad, actually, being a half point per game player at that point, but it's very much going from middle to top 6 to middle to bottom 6 over the course of Galchenyuk's career, and very rapidly at that. However, comes back to Arizona in 2021-22, 60 games, 6 goals, 15 assists, 21 points, solid bottom 6er, gave you some free value there, leaves again, comes back in 2023. We're not going to talk about that. We're just going to go ahead and just erase that. We're not going to talk about that because it turns out Galchenyuk ended up ending his NHL career, not that Cop's bloodline. So on the Coyotes side, you get a pretty solid year of production out of Galchenyuk. You end up getting Phil Kessel, Rasmus Koronen. Obviously, we don't really know what Koronen is yet. It's only been 4 years since the draft, and goaltenders are really hard to predict, but he might not make the NHL. So you get your Phil Kessel, you get your 20-goal season, you get a little bit of service time, 3 years. I mean, it wasn't the worst. Oh, did I forget to talk about Domi? I did, didn't I? I did that on purpose. 2018-2019, the second he goes to Montreal, 82 games, 28 goals, 44 assists, 72 points. Career high in goals and points immediately. Yeah. Coyote luck. In the next season, 19-20, 71 games, 17 goals, 27 assists, 44 points. Very similar point productions, but by that point, Galchenyuk had left the team and, let's be honest, fallen off. And then Domi ends up getting traded in October of 2020 for Josh Anderson, who, according to my research, had the A on his sweater in 2021. He's also scored 17, 19, 21 goals. As a solid middle 6, top 6 guy, more so probably top 6. And then that was there's only one 20-goal season for Domi after this 28-goal season in 2018-19. That's 2022-23. That was the last 20-goal season for Domi. Domi has turned into a straight bottom sixer, which is funny because 7 years later, both of these guys at the NHL level ended up in bottom six roles. They were supposed to be top six guys. They ended up in bottom six roles, and that's what I kind of like about looking back at trades. Because if you look at that trade immediately, Coyotes probably win that. You look at it a year later, Coyotes got fleeced. You look at it 2 years later, Coyotes still probably got fleeced, but you turned it into Phil Kessel. So, I mean, you turned it into something, I guess. And then it's just... I don't know, man. I would say the Coyotes actually didn't make out as bad as maybe I would have felt in 2020. But it still wasn't the greatest. It was just kind of... Overall, a little more fair, but Montreal probably wins that one. And there you go. First video back, looking back at the Alex Galchenyuk trade. And 7 years later, I'm not disgusted. It's got to count for something, right? I don't like looking at this, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. And some of the trades I'm going to eventually talk about, yeah, that's for those days. This is for today. I'm the AZ Sports Guy. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I am back.